What's up, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. We are about to talk about the ladies of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. The most recent episode 5, season 14. I would say things got real, but it's not that deep. It was a pretty straightforward episode, and I've been watching the show off and on. I watched pretty heavily, I would say like the middle of the show seasons, like season 5, season 6. So when Kenya came on, that's when I really picked up watching. Then I fell off. Then I jumped back on watching it probably 2 or 3 seasons ago. And I watch it pretty consistently. So I say, you know what, why not? I'm already talking about it. Why not hit the channel with another one of my loves, reality TV, and talk about one of the shows that I really, really enjoy watching from week to week, even though last week didn't have an episode. And I was very, very upset about it and just a little confused too, because I said, well, where are the ladies at? But they reappeared this week, so we're good. This episode, we jump straight into the continued drama surrounding Shereè's not assistant, who Drew is also has as an assistant. I really like the fact that that was buttoned up. It was realized that Drew seemingly was not listening, did not hear everything that was said in the conversation that led to the argument. And Shereè's basically saying, this rumor, I'm not throwing it out there. I'm just repeating. My friend was repeating what had been brought to me. I did not say it. Your assistant said it. You need to check your assistant. So I liked how that part of the conversation was handled and buttoned up. I also was very, very surprised that Miss Candy, well, actually, I'm not surprised she apologized, but it was such an easy apology. Like, there was nothing attached to it other than she was like, I should have came to you. I was wrong. Very much a, like, by the book. If you were told this is how you're supposed to apologize for possibly hurting somebody's feelings, saying something that you were not supposed to say, or just going in something in a way that somebody did not like, Candy handled it perfectly. I'm not surprised though, honestly, because Candy, like she said, she's about her bag and she's about her family. She typically tries to stay out of any form of drama, and that has continued to be the case this season. Then we jump to Kenya, having a little bit of drama at the table with Mark, and I really have enjoyed, I'm probably going to do some form of a video on this, but I have enjoyed just the growth that has happened among Kenya, Marlo, and Shereè. They are very much just to me, the nucleus of this season and the show, and they are freaking fun. They are very fun this season. But I have really just loved the support that they have been showing to each other collectively. And at the table with Mark, when Kenya was having some issues as far as Brooklyn and just the plans that have been made, from what she was saying, the plans that have been made for Brooklyn to be with her father, all that stuff. I just love the fact that Marlo really stepped in and was like, I'm about to go out here and check on my girl. I'm going to make sure she's cool. I'll ask some questions. I'll encourage her and just let her know we're in New York City. We're having a good time. Don't take this to heart. Don't let this bother you to the point that you don't enjoy your time. So that was just a really great moment. And there have been several of those moments throughout the season so far, including when Marlo was asleep on Kenya's shoulder in the Sprinter van on their way to Jersey to look at Todd's old apartment or whatever. So I just love the fact that they are on good terms, and they are very much a trio, a power trio, when they are all on one accord, and they are all on one accord right now. Still fun. They still have their little moments of just kind of throwing fun jabs and just joking with each other, which I would not expect, but I have really enjoyed the growth of their friendship and kind of where they are now, because it has very much helped push along and it's just been a funny part of the season, because they're always saying something just off the wall to each other occasionally, but then they're not taking it personal. So that's good. We then move to, and I get it, and I knew Marlo, I knew who probably was not going to be with the vibrating draws piece of the the plan that Candy laid out. But when I tell you Marlo, I said Marlo, she brought it to the table. She said, we're going to talk about the vibrating draws now. She was not having it. I also knew that Shereè most likely was not going to have it. I knew that Kenya was not having it. So it's been those notes of very much everybody just being true to who you would expect them to be personality wise. And again, that was not surprising that Marlo called it out of the table. And also not surprising that Candy paid it absolutely no mind. She was like, it's whatever. Like, I just thought it would be fun. Let's move on to the next conversation. So, yes, this episode, it started off just not as dramatic as I expected it to. All of the front end drama was basically resolved. And then I was like chuckling through the rest of the episode, including when they were on the way to the play and Marlo decides that instead of walking, it was like 7 minutes, they said, because they hit the road closure. And they're like, do you want to walk 7 minutes or, how do you want to get to the theater? Everybody else is walking. I said, why did Marlo jump on this bicycle? In heels. And she had on this fly red outfit that made me say, you know what? If I saw Marlo just pumping down the New York City streets, down Midtown New York City, in her red outfit and her 6-inch stilettos in this bad red outfit, letting the people know that she has arrived, she's here, and she is on her way to Broadway, I clap her up and let her do her thing because Marlo be looking good. She'll give you a look, she'll give you a fashion, and I enjoyed every minute of that scene. And it was just so true to her. And then she told him to watch the bike. I said, it's a city bike. It ain't nothing to watch. But I said, you know what? If she had rolled up to me and said, watch my bike while I'm in here at the show, she would have gotten however long the play is, 2 hours and 30 minutes, however long. I would have stood right out there and watched Marlo's bike. She deserves that, for sure. Now, this week, the episode took a bit of a twist in a way that I did not expect it to. When I thought Sanya, at least from the previews, I knew we were going to get a Sanya-Drew conversation eventually. I had expected it to be one-on-one. Clearly, Sanya decided to approach it in a different way. And from the way that she explained it, to me, it made sense why she would bring the conversation up, because a lot of people were questioning like, okay, well, why didn't she wait to bring up the conversation with Drew instead of doing it in front of everybody, and doing it in front of the other women on the show, just do like a one-on-one. But then when Sanya explained that, well, Drew was kind of like, well, we were just getting ready, we were doing glam, you could have asked me there in my room when it was me and you. But Sanya was like, wait, you got your whole team up in here, all 84 people up in here. That wasn't the time for me to talk to you either. And when I think about it and reason it out, in my mind, I'm like, okay, well, all your stuff has pretty much already been laid out in front of the women of the Housewives of Atlanta, Drew. So as my friend, and if we've been prompted in conversation, which was the case, just kind of addressing, Kenya was like, do we have any issues or anything that we want to address? I was like, yeah, why not? We already be talking about everything else. Other people been arguing and putting their issues out and what they like and don't like. So in my mind, I'm like, yeah, why not bring it up, Sanya? I really didn't see anything wrong with the timing. Also knowing that we are on a reality TV show. So ain't no timing gonna be perfect, but there's always gonna be time to talk. That's one thing you can count on a reality TV show, especially Housewives of Atlanta. So I don't know why the response was so, I guess, kind of shock, or like, oh, you should have pulled me to the side. Because like Sanya said, if I had pulled you to the side in the room, that still wouldn't have been pulling you to the side, because there were a lot of other people to the side in the room. I don't know. Clearly, there's editing at play, so I don't know how the full conversation between Drew and Sanya went. I feel like Sanya was kind of getting some of her points through, and from what she was saying in her confessionals, I took, and I could better understand kind of what her goals were with calling out the way Drew had been moving, within the group, and even with the Shereè talk about the assistant, all that kind of stuff. Putting her finger, putting your hand in somebody's face, always a no-no. Yes, in the clip itself, it didn't seem as though she was that clear, but again, without seeing the full conversation, I couldn't really tell if what she was saying was as clear or not as clear as it was coming across, because it wasn't coming across that clear. And I think it was Kenya in her, not Kenya, but Candy in her confessional that was saying she seemed to be talking in circles a bit or whatever. But I think the timing itself wasn't an issue just because we're on a girls trip. We are on a reality TV show and you've been arguing with everybody else or having issues. So if I'm just bringing something to you that is also attached to other members of the group, specifically Shereè, and y'all already ain't on y'all aren't on good terms either, but y'all have all been kind of fussing and having disagreements in front of everyone else. If I'm calling you out about, oh, I don't like the way you're moving here, to me, just due to the timing and the setting, it wasn't that big of a deal. And then, as we know, that snowballed as well. The conversation then turned into how Drew's weight loss program situation, how that works. And when Marlo said that she could not pull the website up, Marlo is funny. She is just a gem. And I need her to get all of her reality TV things because she had me cracking up that whole conversation. There were a lot of questions that were raised. I think more questions left on the back end than answers that they were able to get from Drew from what they were looking to find out. But again, no surprise there. And look, at the end of the day, I went on the site and it's still up there. Drew's doing her thing. So I don't think them questions matter really at the end of the day. But they were doing their research and trying to dig and trying to figure out how things worked and how everything came together. And at least there, Drew seemed to she was defensive at times, but they seem to be having more fun than anything. Like, I don't think they were taking the weight loss program or the workout program, however it's framed, super seriously. I think they were just being seemingly a little silly and kind of having some fun as a group. But yeah, this trip has been it's hit a lot of notes. A lot of notes have been hit, but overall it has been fun to watch them navigate the city. And more than anything, I've just loved the moments where they, specifically Marlo, Shereè, and Kenya, are just all on it and all having this. It's almost as though they're just all in the same mindset right now. Not always, but several times within the last couple of episodes, they've all just seemingly been aligned, and they are reality. Like I said, they are just like a power trio when they are all on the same page. Even when they were in the room before everybody else came in, when the Sanya and Drew conversation happened, when they all three were in there talking and just going through and cutting up, that was too fun to me. Too fun. Yes, I enjoy those three. And we all know, anybody that's watched, I felt, and there have been some questions around the Shereè Tyrone scene. I'm not even going to go into that. All of my recaps, because I realized editing is at play. There's so many other things on the back end at play when it comes to any reality TV show. So my recaps are going to be very much in the sense of just fun and in the sense of, what's the word? Like willful ignorance in a sense. I know that there's talk around certain things, but I'm just going to talk about what was laid out in front of us during the episode, because I think that's the easiest approach to take. And like I said, it lends itself to the escapism that is a reality TV show. But yes, there have been rumors that I just came across, like just doing some additional research after the scene, that I hadn't even heard of because I don't really follow the blogs. I just really just watch the show nowadays. Are the blogs about like the behind the scenes stuff, but that Tyrone scene was sad. That was mad sad. And I don't know where Tyrone was at. I don't know what he had to do. I don't know if his phone was not charged or maybe he was on 1% and just did not want to use no more battery. But I felt for Shereè. That was a sad scene. That was so sad. And clearly she was excited. Like, I'm not going to be in New York City, go to Philadelphia, and also know I need to fly back home to Atlanta. I'm not going to carve out this time for you if I don't want to see you. So her basically being stood up and and her fur, she was ready. She was giving you a fashion. She said, I'm posting up, I'm stepping up. This is not a play day. This is a date day. And I'm showing up. I'm showing up for my man. So she showed up for her man, but it clearly wasn't enough because I said, where is Tyrone? I was looking for him too. I was looking around the corner. I said, Lord, just let him show up. But Tyrone didn't come. So I really, again, the support. And this season has been about just those arcs, like those growth arcs. And for Shereè to call Kenya, who I think at one point that would be the last person we would expect her to call in a moment of personal crisis like that, that's who you're going to text in a crisis? Not Rihanna, not your daughter, but you going to call Kenya? Like, who would have thought that they would be there? But it's also beautiful that they're in that space, and we can watch how their relationship has evolved in a way that Kenya gave her such much like what Marlo did for Kenya when she was having her issues at the dinner table. Kenya gave Shereè in that moment just such powerful words that I'm sure a lot of people, reality TV gets a lot of flack, but I think there are always lessons that you can take away from anything. And what Kenya was saying in that moment, I'm sure somebody that may be not necessarily going through that exact same situation, but maybe having some form of a personal or relationship related just struggle, or may have had a similar moment in dating. Who knows? There was some good words that she put out, and I'm sure a lot of people were touched by what she said. Even though the moment itself was very sad. So I love seeing Kenya step up and very much kind of cover and just give Shereè the love and the support and the additional empowerment that she needed at that time, which, that's embarrassing. That was probably an embarrassing moment. And, rumors about the singing itself or whatever aside, even playing that out, that is embarrassing. So I was really glad to see Kenya step up. I was glad to see Shereè, not necessarily, she didn't crumble, you know what I'm saying? She was upset and she was teary-eyed, but at the end of the day, she also was like, Kenya said, this is the first strike. She was like, this is the 50-11 strike. This is it. So I also liked that message of, just navigating and kind of setting your rules, even when it comes to dating and the people that you want to spend your time with, just making sure that you're holding them accountable, and that they're treating you how you want to be treated. You're not necessarily always having to wait for somebody to do that for you. So you're setting the boundaries and everything. It was a very, like I said, a sad ending, but definitely a lesson to be learned. And again, some very, very powerful words from Kenya that seasons ago, we would have never expected her to show up, and for them to have that type of exchange, and for us to walk away feeling as though Kenya is the one that's kind of got Shereè's back, not even kind of, like, that had Shereè's back in that scene. I don't think anybody could have called that this is where their relationship would be, but it's really dope that they've gotten there. And those moments, I love those moments so much, because that is part of why this season, to me, there's been a lot of commentary about the season itself, but I feel like it's gotten back to a lot of what I enjoy about Housewives of Atlanta. I don't know what I just did. And this was my first little recap. I want to keep it pretty quick, straight to the point, definitely for folks that have more so commentary than just giving you like a play-by-play of what happened. I thought this was a fun episode. It was not as dramatic as I expected it to be coming off of the last episode, episode 4. But that's a good thing. That's a good thing. So great season. I'm enjoying it. I'm going to actually go back. I'm going to rewatch, and I'm probably going to do, because a lot of times I like things to be in full. So I'm like, if I start on episode 5, then that means that I have not talked about 1 through 4. And I don't like that. So I think I'm going to go back and I'm going to do a recap, like a mini recap for the previous 4 episodes as well, so that this series will be a full series and not a starting in the middle. Well, it ain't even the middle, because these Housewives seasons have like 20 something episodes typically, but we're not starting 5 episodes in to the recap. So there will be more recaps happening. Prepare for those. Be ready. It's going to be great. What did you think about this episode? What was your favorite part of it? What did you not like about this episode? And also, I'm like, what do you think about this season? I know a lot of people have had a lot to say about season 14 of RHOA. I was about to be like ROAH, and that was not right. RHOA. And yeah, just keep a lookout for my recaps from week to week for the episodes. I'm gonna try my best to do this, and because I ain't did this before. This is new, but it's fun. I'm enjoying it. It's a show I love to watch. And subscribe if you enjoyed this. Give me a thumbs up. All those good things. And I will be seeing you for the next video.